Welcome to The Insider. This is the official podcast for the City of Murfreesboro. I'm Mike Browning. And our guest today is Jessica Cline. She is the Assistant Director for the Community Development Department here in Murfreesboro. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So community development, for those of us maybe who don't fully understand all of what you do, what is the mission of community development?
We serve the low to moderate income community within the city of Murfreesboro through various programs. We have a owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program, an affordable housing assistance program for first-time homebuyers. We also provide public service grants to local nonprofits that are providing service to the low moderate income community.
So you have this particular segment of the community that has low or moderate income, and you're trying to reach out to them for needs that they have in an economy now where there are a lot of people who are finding it difficult to afford a home.
That is correct, yes. Our goal is to prevent homelessness, so we are looking to either help them find housing or to keep them in their current housing.
And what is the affordable housing assistance program within your department?
That is our first-time homebuyers program. So we provide assistance towards down payment, closing cost, and principal reduction for qualified first-time homebuyers.
So the down payment costs, let's say you're someone that would like to apply for this program, what do you do?
We're kind of their third step in the process. So they're going to reach out to a local lender or mortgage company to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. They'll want to find a realtor that they're going to work with. Our program requires that the home they purchase be within Murfreesboro city limits. And once they've got their what they're pre-approved for their mortgage, then they'll come to us and apply. Their application is good for 6 months. We continue to update the income throughout the 6 months, make sure they stay qualified for the program. As long as they meet the requirements of the program, which is income qualification, they have to be at or below 80% of the area median income, which is set by HUD. They have to have 1% minimum towards the purchase price in cash to pay at closing, and that can go towards their down payment or closing cost. They have to take a HUD-approved homebuyer training course, and then they also have to, of course, make sure that the home is free of lead-based paint. So if it's built prior to 1978, we will pay for lead testing to make sure that it's clear of any hazards.
In this economy, I would think that the need or the demand for affordable housing and your grants is larger than what you can fulfill.
Correct. Yes.
How do you deal with that?
It's difficult. We take in the applications. They're all on first come, first serve basis. We've got some applicants that sit in the program for a year before they find something, and some of them come to us right at the end where they've got their offer in on their house, they're ready to close, and we come through and try to assist in the best way we can by providing them additional funds to help lower the cost of their mortgage payment. Do
these funds need to be repaid by the home buyer?
Typically, no. It is a deferred, no-interest loan, and depending on the amount of assistance they receive, there is a compliance period. So if they receive $15,000 or less, the compliance period is 5 years, and as long as they maintain ownership of the home, it is forgiven at the 5 years. And anything between $15,000 and $40,000 is a 10-year compliance period, and anything between the $40,000 and $50,000 that we provide is going to be a 15-year.
You've probably answered some of this question, but what are the qualifications? What do they have to meet in order to get the grant?
Yeah. So they have to, their income needs to be at 80% or below the area median income.
And what is that approximately now?
For a family of 3, I believe it's currently about $69,000. And that will change every year. Typically between May and June, we get updated income limits from HUD.
So that's one thing that people should realize. If you're at that $69,000 level for a family of 3, you might qualify for this, which
Correct.
is somewhat surprising.
Yes. I know a family of 6 is like $110,000. So it depends on your family size. And we do look at the income of anybody over the age of 18 earning income in that household. So if there's a senior parent living there getting Social Security, their income also is included into that.
So income is one of the biggest qualifications.
That is
What are
correct.
some of the other qualifications?
The home has to be located in Murfreesboro city limits. We don't put a restriction on the age of the home or what the purchase price is. The purchase price is going to be set by their lender. So as long as it's within city limits, then they meet that qualification. They're required to take a HUD-approved first-time homebuyers course. And then they also have to have a minimum of 1% of the purchase price. So if it's a $300,000 house, they have to contribute $3,000 to closing.
The home buyer has to qualify for the home through the lender. Is it right to assume that they're kind of working with you too, so that the lender knows that they're also possibly getting a grant?
That is correct, yes. As soon as they apply for us or for our program, we'll get the lender information for who they're working with and get in touch with that lender to make sure that they accept our grant that we've got. We've not had any lenders that don't accept it, but some do have a qualifying process they have to go through to make sure our program fits within what they're offering as well.
When should someone first apply if they want to seek this grant?
They should apply really as soon as they've been pre-approved for a mortgage while they're going through that search for their home. That way we can work with the lender and kind of keep things moving as quickly as possible so that when they find their home and put in their offer, we're able to keep things moving and don't cause any delays in their closing.
Do you happen to have like somewhat of a backlog on this, or how does that work within the department?
We get several calls a year looking for this type of assistance, and so we just kind of take the applications in as they come. Some of them have either chose not to purchase or they purchase outside of city limits, and so they can't use our assistance. But we're always taking in applications.
I know part of the purpose of doing this kind of marketing is to get the word out there, but
Yes.
is it right to assume that maybe a lot of people don't know that they could take advantage of this?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that aren't sure what our program is and don't know what we offer in the affordable housing assistance. We are currently reaching out to local lenders and mortgage companies to try to help bring awareness to the program, so that way we can hopefully bring in additional homeowners.
And that, I would think that would be a direct way to do it through the lenders themselves, because
Yes.
they're having to provide
Yes.
the loan funding.
Yes, we've had a lender we've worked with in the past that he reached out to us on behalf of a client that was needing assistance, and we were able to step in and help them.
Does the Community Development Department have preferred lenders?
We don't have preferred lenders. We'll work with any mortgage company or lender. However, a lot of the lenders do have to go through their underwriting to approve us. So it's best for applicants to apply as soon as they've been pre-approved for their mortgage. That way, we can get that approval process out of the way and not delay their closing at all. We've got a few that we've already gone through that process with, and so we're hoping to get more lenders that can pre-approve us.
I thought I would ask you specifically about a couple programs. I mean, we can address them one at a time.
Yeah.
What is the public service grant?
That is grants that we offer out to local nonprofits. The last few years, it's been a $25,000 grant, and that is for nonprofits that are providing a public service. So past recipients have been community helpers, domestic violence, Boys and Girls Club, indoor athletics. A lot of them use it to cover staff time to help provide the services they're providing to the low moderate income community. Some of them use them for expansion of their programs. The purpose of it is a capacity building, so we are looking to increase their programs and make them more widely available.
So this is mainly for like nonprofits and government agencies.
Correct.
Is there a calendar for that?
Yes. Applications opened January 26th and will close February 27th. And they run about the same time every year, late January to into February. And then we do hold a workshop for interested applicants. This year's will be on February 11th. And that's so we can go over program requirements if they have questions about the program they want to apply for. if their program they're looking to use for the application is going to fit the requirements of the program, we're there to answer questions and help them get going on their applications.
That might be a good time for us to address where to find the application. So it's on our website at
Yes.
murfreesborotn.gov, but then how do you go from there to find community development?
Yeah, you'll go to your government and it'll be under community development, and then there's a link to the online application there on our page.
Okay. And then there's another one called the Home Investment Partnership Grant. What is that?
That one is to increase affordable housing in our community. So through that one, we can do down payment assistance, development, or reconstruction of affordable housing. In the past, we've partnered with Habitat for Humanity for down payment assistance for their applicants, and then we've also partnered with the Murfreesboro Housing Authority and their redevelopment of the Mercury and Hancock Apartments.
Recently, you went before the city council making a request to the council. I think it had to do with down payment assistance. Can you explain what you were attempting to do? And I think you got approval for that.
We
right?
did, yes, and it's very exciting. So in the past, our affordable housing assistance or down payment assistance was a maximum of $10,000 per applicant. And we can only pay for 50% of the down payment and 50% of the closing costs. Anything else can go towards principal reduction. However, with $10,000, it doesn't go very far. Yes. And so what we did is asked for an increase to allow up to $50,000 per applicant, and that's based on their need. We look at their income, what their approved mortgage is, what their interest rates may be, and we've got a tool that we use and put those numbers into, and it'll tell us what the level of assistance is that's needed. Recently, we had one that a family could have used up to $35,000 to help bring their cost of their mortgage down, and so now we will be able to provide that assistance moving forward.
So you realized that $10,000 just wasn't really adequate for this type of funding, and
Yes.
you were able to get that increased.
Yes. Yep. So we'll be able to hopefully have a larger impact on these families that are trying to get into a first-time home.
Maybe we should go back and talk about the public service grant a little bit. Like, who is eligible to apply for that?
Any local nonprofit and some local government agencies. The purpose of it is to be providing a public service to the community. So departments like Parks and Rec, Police Department, they can apply for it for the additional funding.
And I think what we should also answer is that most of this funding does come from the federal government.
Correct.
But the Community Development Department, as a local municipal department, is there to administer these funds.
Yes, that is correct. We receive funding for the affordable housing assistance, homeowner rehabilitation, public service grants, and that from HUD directly through the Community Development Block Grant and the Home Investment Partnership Grant. We also receive some general fund money to help us administer these programs, but the bulk of our federal funds go out to the community.
And then the administrative funds come from our general fund.
That is correct.
Okay. Where can the application be found for the public service grant? I assume it's in the same location or somewhere near where we were talking about before.
Yes. Yep. That is on our on the community development website.
What about the closing for this application? Because they don't last forever, right?
Correct. It will close at 11:59 p.m. on February 27th, and it is an online application, so any interested applicant will submit their application through our online portal.
Okay. When you do that, when you have these meetings and you try to bring people in, do you typically have that at Patterson Park, or where are you going to have this one?
Yes, the grant application workshop is going to be held at the airport at 1 p.m. on February 11th.
Okay, and then how many people normally show up for that, and then how long does it go, and then what are you trying to communicate to them?
Typically, it lasts about half an hour to an hour, depending on how many questions we get. We have, I think last year's attendance, there was about 30 people there from different nonprofits. Some of them had multiple representatives come in, but we usually have a pretty good turnout of applicants that are interested. We do only award 5, so it is a very competitive application, but that is because we hand out a $25,000 award typically.
So a $25,000 award to 5 different agencies or
Correct. So it's a
government?
total of 125 that we give out.
What are the typical questions that you try to address at that particular meeting?
A lot of the questions we get are about the activities that they want to fund. So one of the things that we cannot fund is food. So like local food bank could apply for staffing, but we couldn't pay for the food that's being handed out. So so a lot of the questions we get are whether or not that certain types of expenses are allowable under the grant.
Okay.
And it is a reimbursable grant, so the agencies will pay it up front, submit a reimbursement to us, and then we reimburse them for the funds they've already used.
As you look out beyond this meeting on February 11th and this grant that we're talking about, what are some of the other things that community development does throughout the year that maybe we should be aware of?
Yes, we do a owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program where we address major issues that could be preventing a family from staying in their home, such as failing roof, accessibility concerns. So for some of our senior citizens, we'd put in accessible showers rather than a step-in bathtub that may pose as a safety risk for them. We do ramps for the home if they have disability or accessibility issues. We also do tree removals of dead, diseased, or dying trees that are posing as a threat to the home. That one's kind of a broader program that we do. Under that, we'll do like heating and air conditioning replacements if their system is failing as well. Anything to keep the owner in their home to, again, prevent homelessness.
Yeah, I would think that any of these costs, whether it be a roof replacement, which can run $25,000, or a new HVAC, $5,000 to $6,000 perhaps, and
Yeah.
and even a tree that needs to be removed is over $1,000 sometimes.
Yes.
So these are all expenses that a fixed income family or person really can't afford to incur.
Correct. And it's very similar to our affordable housing, is they don't have to pay it back. It is a deferred grant as well, and so it has that same compliance period of 5 to 15 years, depending on the cost of the rehabilitation. But there's no interest and no payments due on that as long as they maintain ownership for the compliance period. We forgive the loan at the end of the compliance period.
And I assume there's an application for this as well.
There is, yes. Yep, and it's the application, we take in income information, proof of identity, of course, make sure that they are under that 80% area median income.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to address before we wrap it up?
We just kind of want to get the word out there for our programs, and we know there's a lot of people that are in need of the assistance, and we just want to make sure that the community is aware that these programs exist and that we're there to help them.
Remind us of where a home buyer can apply for these home loans.
Yep, they can reach out to the Community Development Department to receive an application. That one is a paper application they'll have to fill out and bring back in, but we always email them out or they can pick them up in person.
And it's at murfreesborotn.gov.
Yes.
And then look for community
Development. Yep.
All right. Jessica, the Assistant Director for Community Development, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Jessica Cline has been our guest here on the podcast, The Insider, our official podcast for the City of Murfreesboro. Thanks for listening on our multiple programs. Our producer is Michael Nevels. For information on the City of Murfreesboro, it's murfreesborotn.gov. This has been the official podcast for the City of Murfreesboro, The Insider. I'm Mike Browning, and thanks for joining us.